What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? This will be my first live stream of the day, 6:30 a.m. my Tuesday morning, wherever you guys are in the world. I say welcome. For the support, I say thank you. If you haven't already, could you guys subscribe to the channel as you're tapping in? The live streams are getting more popular. Just give me a like. Any way you can support it, like the video, subscribe, comment, let me know where you're tapping in from. We got a lot of work to get into. We have fights tomorrow. We have fights Friday. We have fights on the weekend. It's a busy weekend. And I'm going to get into that on this live stream. I'm going to stay live for about an hour. After this live stream, just so you guys know my schedule, I'm going to upload the Jerusalem fight. Melvin Jerusalem, he's fighting minimum weight, smaller guy, minimum weight world title tomorrow. And this fight is being offered. If you're from Australia, you could get action on these fights on Sportsbet and Bet365. I've been telling you guys over the last few weeks, if you are in Australia and you're doing boxing betting, I would recommend using Bet365 simply because of the risk of the draw. On Sportsbet, the draw ruins your whole parlay. On Bet365, it just voids it, so the rest of the fights stay live. Jerusalem is fighting Kuse, and we're going to get into that card. We're going to have a couple options. I think there's 2 fights on the Jerusalem card, and then Michaela Mayer is fighting in Canada. We're going to get to that as well. Guys, you see that link pinned on the screen? That's Johnny Says Boxing VIP membership. You join up through YouTube. It's a couple bucks a month. You get access to our private Discord. In the Discord, it's boxing and MMA inspired, but over the first 3 months of us starting the Discord, and I'll show it to you in a second, we have NBA better. We have an NBA channel. We have an American football channel. We have an NHL channel, and it's growing. So we just hit 250 VIPs this past weekend. So I say thank you. If you're on this live stream and you see the stars next to the boys' names, those guys are in the Discord. So getting started, Rambler, what's up? I'm going to take this. Rambler has, he brings up a good point. I'm not going to stick too much on this too long, but he says, Johnny, Ralph Wilkins, the guy who pushed Yard. Yeah, he lost the decision to Yard, is fighting, and is a big underdog if you fancy it. So I'll pull up those odds, guys. Wilkins is he's fighting a guy that we've covered on the channel, Mehmet Unal. Mehmet Unal, this is on the undercard of the Mayer card, the Mayer fight card. My issue with taking him as the dog, he is the big favorite, is how Anthony Yard fights. Anthony Yard dropped Wilkins early, I think in the first or second round. And the way Yard, we're about to see Yard. He better come in motivated against Benavidez. But historically, if you watch Anthony Yard's career, you'll see him be a slow starter at times. If you just watched his last fight against the other Brit who's also fighting this weekend. His name's slipping my mind. We've covered him, Lyndon Arthur. So he had a late start against Lyndon Arthur, and then he had to kind of rally. But in the Wilkins fight, he drops him early, and then he cruises. So the knock on Anthony Yard has never been physical. The knock on Anthony Yard has never been skill set. It's kind of like some fighters, when they get up on the card, they cruise, and some fighters kind of give rounds away, and then they have to come back. And we've seen both from Yard. And I don't put too much into the decision, the Wilkins decision. I think that Mehmet is a legit prospect / contender, and I don't see Ralph beating him. But I think it's a good point. It's a valid point. And I got to be honest with you, Rambler. You watch my channel long enough. You know me to even pose this question, because the first thing I do when fights get announced, especially during fight week, I go over all the action. And I'm like, where's the dog at? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where is our dog of the week? So we'll go over these right now. And as you can tell, so this is the action on Sportsbet. So Melvin Jerusalem fighting Kuse. This is for the minimum weight world title, the WBC minimum weight world title. This goes down tomorrow. It's Wednesday night in Australia. I think it's Wednesday morning in America. Melvin Jerusalem is a good boxer. He's a good fighter. These odds, like I said, I couldn't find any upsets worth me taking tomorrow or Friday. So I already put up my long parlay, by the way. The long parlay is for everybody. It's on YouTube, and I gave it to the Discordians, and it's up on my Instagram. It's only the fights for tomorrow and Friday. I tried my best to find an upset. I just don't see it happening. And then none of these fights are allowing me to they're not giving me any method of victory options either. So if you guys are going to ask me, Melvin Jerusalem decision or knockout, we're not even getting options to bet that. I'm only getting money line. So I already put my long parlay in on this app. This is Bet365. And this is up on my social medias. If you're following me on Instagram or YouTube, you'll see it. Marcial, I'm not going to join it. So Marcial fight Eddie Colmenares, man. Go check Eddie Colmenares if you want to bring up the box rec. I taped these two. Colmenares' record looks good. He has 100% knockout to win ratio. He has fought nobody. So if you take just the favorites, there's 6 of them. Marcial, Jerusalem, Guerrero, Mehmet Ono, Mathal, and then Michaela Mayer. It's plus money. It's 1-1. $100 gets your money back plus $120. You could go have a look at that. That is up on our YouTube channel. Everybody's tapping in. What's up? What's up, DJ? DJ's in the house. Jerusalem is probably one of the most underrated punches. Jerusalem, good fight, man. Yeah, like I said, Joshua. I'm uploading my breakdown, prediction, and analysis right after this. If you guys are new to the channel, go to my playlist, my fight prediction playlist. That's where you'll see the professionally edited videos, the stats don't lie videos. Professionally edited, the analysis. You'll see a little bit of film study, and at the end, I give you my prediction. I mentioned that point, and Joshua, I think it's a testament to the overall. It's not a bad thing when I say this, but the average boxing fan, they, historically, they love the bigger fighters. This is a minimum weight fight. These are smaller guys, but Jerusalem, he's a fun fighter. I like watching the smaller fighters. You usually see the smaller you go, the quicker, the speed, the technique. It's really kind of like you could kind of cut the depth of the fan in half by if they know, like, a lot of the smaller fighters. Everybody likes bloodshed. Everybody likes, big heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? Adu in the house, boxing fan, my guy. Boxing fan, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm also going to put all the boys in the Discord on the spot. So you see the boys with the stars. Adu, follow Mike TV's in the house. I didn't post this in the Discord. I sent a private message to our moderator, Gil, and I sent a private message to our live stage moderator, Nick from Breaking Bad. I'm trying to figure out a sort of either week-to-week contest in the Discord or a month-to-month contest in the Discord. And, I'm open to suggestions, something that could get everybody in the Discord, like whoever gets whoever hits the longest parlay or whoever hits the ticket with the biggest odds, the widest odds, or whoever hits the biggest underdog sort of thing. We come up with a challenge, a competition, and we come up with a prize. Have a think about it. Because boxing fan behind the scenes, he's another one of my, he helps us grow. La Hustle, can you cover Phil Rowe? Phil Rowe's fighting this week, man. We're talking about MMA. Phil Rowe, he cut his teeth down in South Florida. I remember when Phil Rowe was training at, they've had multiple different names now, the gym. But I'll cover Phil Rowe for you, La Hustle. Give me till Thursday. This is my Tuesday. I usually start covering MMA in depth on that second Thursday live stream. So it's right now to keep you organized. It is my Tuesday at 6:30 a.m. So I'm going to go live again today. And then Wednesday, we have 2 live streams. Thursday, we have 2 live streams. The second live stream on Thursday, I'll cover MMA. You should have a Jerusalem props on Bet365. Let's pull it up. I couldn't find it. Hey, Adu. Last night, Adu, I didn't have these props. See, this is why the chat keeps me in check, boy. This is something that if you guys are new to YouTube, if you guys are content creators, I was messaging one of the boys on Instagram who just started a YouTube channel. He's one of, he subscribes here. And I said, whenever you're ready for me to shout out your YouTube channel, let me know. And I'll share your links and I'll tell everybody to follow. And I said this exact point. I was like, just make sure you come, if you're coming factually with like a boxing channel or a sport channel, you better have your facts on point, because YouTube is, the sporting YouTube fandom, boy, people will keep you on your toes. And, I value that. So appreciate you, Addy. Follow Mike TV, love from UK. Always big dog. Guys, Mike is fighting December 7th. He's at Birmingham UK guy. He's fighting at the Holiday Inn, one of the Holiday Inns in the UK. I'll bring it up on my Instagram right now. I just shared it. He's in our Discord. He's, a subscriber, pro athlete, pro boxer, got a fight coming up. Support him. Go follow his YouTube. Okay, what's these upsets I'm hearing about? DJ sounds like a perfect round robin. Where's DJ at with the upsets? I didn't see this. PJ the Puppet, my guy. PJ's a comic out of Philly, right? I didn't, do you do stand up or do you just do comedy? Let me know, because it all makes sense because you bring a nice little flavor to our group and the channel. PJ will get on you. Win Santiago, good hit. Win Santiago. Win is my guy. He's one of the subscribers. He emails me. Wins, you've been on a little hot streak, big dog. I shared your ticket on my Instagram story. You hit there was some money line action, I think, in Kyrgyzstan, day 2. I think I saw your ticket hit. And then you hit, I think, 2 in a row. Jerusalem can't fail. The Filipino fans in the same venue. He'll be ready. Win, did you take here's the question though, Win. Did you bet against Casemiro? You know what I'm saying? Because the Filipino fan base, you guys were coming at me when I told you that Kameda, when me and Breaking Bad were talking about Kameda to beat Casemiro, that was our underdog of the week. Who'd you take? What happened to PJ the promoter? PJ the Puppet Show. He goes back and forth. DJ Green. Boxing fan, I'm still doing tape. I'm trying. Yeah. So DJ and boxing fan, I couldn't find any upsets for tomorrow or Friday, but that doesn't mean there's not upsets. We have a whole slew of fights all weekend. I know my upset of the week. It's just not happening tomorrow, and it's not happening on Friday. I don't see an upset in Canada. I don't. Remember the boxing glove keychains I told you about? Yeah, I was thinking something more digital. It's a great idea, boxing fan. The keychains, I have my publisher sent me a whole box of my latest book. So we could do like my latest book signature. We could send them out. That'll be another thing we do. I was thinking maybe we could, is there any sort of like, does anybody know on chat, is there any sort of like digital website, like a website that has digital gifts that you could kind of like put into like a pot and you could grow, like, I don't know, it's something that'll be like easier, because then we could just put money into a pot, we could transfer it, we could have like a potluck of cash. Like maybe there's an app, and then I put the app in the Discord group, and like everybody in the Discord group, there's 250. If everybody transfers $1, then either week a dollar transfer, you'd have $250, and then whoever wins the contest, they get that. Because I mean, a dollar a week ain't. We'll see. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like a digital piggy bank. Is there a digital piggy bank that we would all be able to have access to? I don't know. See, I come up. There's my guy, bro. Breaking Bad's an animal, guys. So Breaking Bad. Let me give Breaking Bad some love real quick. So we started a really cool feature in the Discord, guys. And if you guys want to get up to date on this, the Discord isn't just for betting. The Discord is for winning, but the Discord is for community. And where it's evolved just in the last week is insane. We only started 3 months ago, but yesterday we launched our live film study feature to where the boys and Breaking Bad is one of my one of the moderator for the live film study. So we had our first event to where I think Nick was breaking down Jones and Cameron. I'll pull up a little bit from that. And so what you guys are allowed to do now is go when we create an event. There's a lot to talk about, guys. We got to talk about Shock. We got to talk about Kid Schofield pulling out. We got to talk about Auntie Sco. Okay, so this is the new feature. This is Nick yesterday breaking down, I think, Brown versus, and that's him up in the corner. And there's about, the boys are tapping in. And so what we're able to do now on the Discord is live stream film study, have one of our moderators break down the film study, and have everybody tap in. So this is just another element. I didn't even know we could do this. So you're getting kind of like firsthand insights from a kid in Breaking Bad. You know, he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. If you don't follow his channel, Breaking Bad Boxing on YouTube, does great breakdowns. And so that feature we just launched. Let me press pause on this. I'll press pause on this. Okay. So Melvin by knockout. Let's check those odds. Is that the move? Shark infested waters of those comment sections with it keeps us all on point, right? Breaking Bad keeps us all on point. I listen to you, bro. Win Santana, I listen to you, bro. I did not place a bet on that fight. I was supposed to lose on that one. And what do we always say, guys? Sometimes the best bet are the ones we don't make. Don't chase your bets. If you're betting and you're not having fun, stop betting. If it's affecting your personal relationships, and I speak from experience, from 2011 to 2013, I lived in Las Vegas. And in my first book I wrote, one of the first sentences in that first book called Ungoogleable, it's behind me, is the sentence goes, I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy ever to move to Las Vegas to find himself. And so I was involved with a bunch of crazy shit. My roommate in Vegas was a gambling addict, and I just watched his whole life erode. He would get paid on Saturday at 11 a.m. And in Vegas, if you're a local, you could cash your paychecks at the casino, which is freaking insane. So he would get paid. He would get paid Saturdays at 11 a.m. He'd get the paycheck. I worked Saturday night on the strip as a bartender. So at 11 a.m., I would go with him to the New Orleans, I think it was the New Orleans casino, and he would cash his paycheck at 11, and by 12 p.m., he'd be broke for the whole week. And he worked at the Wynn Casino. So all Wynn Casino employees, whether you're a bartender or if you're like working on the strip club promoting, at the time in 2011, they gave you a fob key to where you could swipe in anywhere on the casino grounds and you could go to the cafeteria and eat. So he would get all of his food. He would eat all of his food at the casino, the cafeteria food, and he would gamble. And it ruined our relationship as friends. It ruined all of his relationships. So some of the best bets we ever make are the ones we don't gamble on. They want Parker to go out on a stretcher because they don't want to lose their bet, and all still crying. What did I miss? Nah, his name was, I call it, nah. His name was Grimy Aaron, I call him. Shout out to Aaron if you're watching. He was so grimy, dude. On some real levels, Aaron was the only friend I've ever had who we could go to a nightclub and he could come home with a 10. The dude looked like, in 2011, I would have been, 14 years ago, I would have been 29. So in 2011, I was 29. He was 21. And at 29, I'm single. And this is no like shade. I'm not bragging here. I'm just speaking facts. He was the only friend I ever had that we would go out and he'd be able to pull girls over me. Like in 2011, very good looking. But he was the type of friend, degenerate, who at times could pull a 10, but more often than not, he would leave with a 1, a 2, or a 3. And that's where we differed in terms of our discipline. Because my whole thing was, I'm going home alone, dude. I'm not going hogging. That's just not how, I've never rolled that way. He would go home with like a 1 or a 2. He would say this is a famous Grimy Aaron line. He'd be like, and my last name's Stoff. He'd be like, hey, Stoff. It would be like Friday afternoon. Hey, Stoff, the nightclub's popping tonight. He'd say, put the boots on, boys. We're going hogging. I'm like, no, we ain't going hogging. I don't mess with big girls. I like big, it ain't for me. I am not messing with big girls, boy. He would say, put the boots on, put the spurs on, we going hogging. That's Grimy Aaron. It wasn't Chauncey Billups. That's a mate, real rap. So this is a good fight. Back to box. What's the safest bet on the Buatsi card? Let's pull that up. I gotta be. This is actually an interesting card. Let's look at the fights first before we get excited, because sometimes I don't get odds down here. Minimize my big ass head, boy. Buatsi 19-1, 13 knockouts. Who's that lost to? Yeah, he lost to Callum Smith. He lost to Beefy. And it's kind of like he loses to Beefy, worst nickname in pro sports. And then we saw what Aaron McKenna did to him, right? So that's kind of like when people do their like triangle theories, why Buatsi gets kind of like, some people will judge a man on their loss rather than their win. You know what I mean? All right, here we go. All right. So I've been looking at the Bradley Ray Lyndon Arthur fight all week. We'll look at these odds real quick. So you got you got Ray versus Arthur. We've covered both guys. We last saw Lyndon Arthur against the kid we already talked about him, the kid who's fighting David Benavidez, the big dog. And he started off good. He faded a bit. And then we've covered Bradley Ray. We've covered him like 2 months ago. Buatsi's fighting Zach Part. Liam Cameron, he's coming off that rematch against Ben Whitaker in a loss. Troy Jones. All right, those 3 fights are the 3 that I'm interested in. So let's have a look. I want to see the Bradley Ray versus Lyndon Arthur odds. Yeah, see, I'm close here, guys. I'm close. See, this might, we'll see. Off jump, we'll see. This might be the one. It just depends on, Lyndon Arthur's not getting any younger. I think Lyndon Arthur at his best, though, will do well with Ray. What do you guys think? I'm just catching up to you boys. I'm just catching up. Win Santiago with the super sticker. Thanks, big dog. I appreciate you. Dude, he sagged against the ropes. Hagen. You know what, boys? It's not just Hagen is insane. He would brag about it. It was like a call to arms. It was like a proclamation. Like in the late 1800s, there was a if you guys are history nerds, what was his? He wrote God is Dead. Anyway, in the late 1800s, imagine writing the word God is dead. His name will come to me. And it was a proclamation. It was sort of, it was a philosophy. It was a metaphor on the idea of, nihilism. He was like the godfather of nihilism, a philosophy to where there's no supreme being. The systems are built against you. But when he said these words on paper, God is dead, it was like a proclamation. My buddy Aaron, Grimy Aaron, we're going Hagen. It was a proclamation. He was like, let's dance. Oh, my bad. See, it's early, boys. Beefy's lit. Beef and Callum is Beefy's brother. It's early. It's early. You guys are the first. It's early. Thanks for holding me down. Anyway, Beefy, worst nickname in pro sports. Out of Buatsi, Lyndon Arthur, Liam Cameron, put them in order 1 to 4. You're talking skill set. Mate, I like Buatsi. I think Buatsi. Do you guys think Buatsi has the bigger upside? And I think I might take Lyndon to beat Ray. I don't know. Off jump, putting me on blast. I might go Buatsi, Arthur, Ray, Cameron. I might. Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Yeah. Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche. God is dead. You know what I'm talking about. See, you're a smart guy, JP. You're a smart guy. I knew, JP Farley, man. I knew I liked you, brother. But you know how it was like, could you imagine writing those words, though, in that time, in that era? The dawn of the Industrial Revolution, the world was changing. You write those words, pretty wild. So PJ has a proclamation. PJ tells the world he's going Hagen this Saturday. PJ, good luck. And hopefully you're still good. I'm not smart at Rambler. He knows everything. Rambler's the Oracle. We'll call. I have a client that my girlfriend calls the Oracle. This dude, he does really well for himself. He sells financial. He sells. He's a financial data analyst. So big companies bring him in to kind of do, you know, forecasts of their sort of data, and then he makes sort of like, um, this isn't my wheelhouse, by the way. This is just from he gets paid a lot of money then to like foresee predictability and patterns of like money, where money's being spent, where money's being invested, and he knows everything. We could be talking about like he'll be talking about like World War II and like the tank battles in World War II and why Germany's tanks were so much better, technologically than America's tanks, and the tanks themselves almost won the Germans the war. And this dude's a financial data analyst, and then on the down low, he starts talking his shit, and I have to bring out the phone, be like, this motherfucker bullshit. He don't know nothing about no tank. What's he talking about, boy? I'll look, spot on. So my girlfriend calls him the Oracle. So I think Rambler might have a new name. We might be calling Rambler the Oracle. Let's get into these odds, though. So somebody said Jerusalem by knockout. Damn it. I put that goddamn long parlay together literally an hour ago, and just sort of succumbed to the idea that I wasn't going to get method of victory. Boys, is that the move? Are we sleeping on Kuse? Is that the move? I think it was Adu. Breaking Bad. Are we rolling with Jerusalem by stoppage? We got to bring up Kuse. I'm going to bring up Kuse's box rec, see what time it is. Yeah, the experience is insane. The Jerusalem, I just want to make sure we're not shading Kuse. South African southpaw, 9-2, never been stopped. Only has, this will be his 13th pro fight. It shows you how rare the division is. You only have 283 fighters in the world at minimum weight. You think about a division like welterweight, 47. There's like, I think 2,400 pros at that division, and in this division there's 283. And this is why when you think about flip coin to this, the women, there's divisions in the women, like women's divisions, I think from like middleweight up, some divisions have like 48 people. So like this is why when breaking down women's fights or betting on women's fights in certain divisions are kind of a coin flip, because you win 3 fights as a girl in certain divisions, boy, you might be fighting for a world title. I told you a girl I managed for about a year. We managed her for about 3-4 pro fights. Lynn Sandstrom. Lynn Sandstrom was a table tennis player. she was a Swedish ping pong player, basically like a ping pong champion, and then started training for fitness at Bondi Boxing Club. And then she had a weigh in, looked good on the scales, and then kind of went viral. And then she started getting big fights, which was insane. Did you put the long parlay? Did you put the long parlay together in a clown? You don't like it? Who's gonna lose that? Do you think somebody's gonna lose on that? I'll pull it up. That's funny though. I mean, it's 2-1. It's plus 210. So who do you guys see losing this? So this pays 210. These are all money line. Marcio versus Colomanares. Eddie Colomanares' record. People are gonna get honey dicked on that record because he has 100% knockout to win ratio. I watched like 5 minutes of tape on him. I was like, God damn, this is Marcio won't struggle. Jerusalem $1.10. I mean, these fights happen tomorrow and Friday. I tried finding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I tried finding an upset. Shaquille Finn fighting Wilkins Matthau. I mean, did you guys watch tape on that? So 100 on this gets me my money back plus 110. Carlos is going to throw 20,000 on this. Carlos will get his money back plus another 20 grand. So, Adu, what are you referring to? You don't like this? I'm just being real. So, did you put that long parlay in a clown? Who do you see losing here? I don't think Muscles will show with PJ here. He's like the live. The Oracle speaks. What'd you see, DJ? DJ, what'd you see? You want to come on? DJ, click the link. I put it in the Discord. If you want to come on real quick, talk about Wilkins and Shaquille, do it. We're 30 minutes in. You know, you don't have. I know some people get kind of weird with the video playing, but you could just go audio. I'm interested to see what you saw, Wilkins, Shaquille. Do you see anything in Shaquille beating Wilkins Matthau? Oh, he's at work. It's all good. Fight Factors in the house. What's up, big homie? Yeah, this one, 6 legs. I don't see, and I'm not traditionally risk adverse, of course. I didn't do this because, you know, all favorites is, you know, I just don't see any dogs winning on these 2 cards. At least the 6 fights on the money line on that we're looking at here. I think all 6 should handle their opponents pretty well. And it's 210, guys. We're in plus money here. If we talk about risk adverse, I'm not trying to jinx anything because we know in boxing there's no guarantees. But I like it. I like it. I like this one. So Adu, I want to know what you're talking about. What do you mean did I put this long parlay together in a clown suit? You better be backing that up, boy. Now I got to know what you're talking about. All right, DJ. Yeah, for sure. And DJ, also, if ever you want to do any live stage film studies in the Discord, let me know. I just have to change some features. You don't have Christopher Guerrero. Yeah, so good question, Win. I'll show you. So it's a good question, and I'll tell you why I was hesitant. Bet365, dude. The loading on Bet365 is insane. I just didn't want to rush to judgment on throwing William Herrera away against Guerrero. So it's not like I've taped it, but I put an asterisk next to this fight because I was like, before I give this on my long parlay, I need to break the tape down. I know Guerrero is a big favorite. I remember hearing William Herrera's name before. I don't know if I'd seen him fight. I think I did, and I didn't want to put him on this one. But Guerrero's a huge favorite. He's not bad. Yeah, see this is what I was talking about. Give me a second while I pull this up. Okay, let's look at it real quick. So this is Guerrero. Look at that. He got that. I thought he had a Edgar haircut for a second. Do you guys know about the Edgar? Do they talk about Edgar? No, Johnny Herrera was negative versus Pat McCormick. Yeah, so Minky, it wasn't that I was thinking Herrera was going to win. In my head, I knew that we just saw him fight, and I didn't want to put him on the parlay and give it away without doing my own due diligence. And this is part of it. So, yeah, that's how we heard of him. It was McCormick. But the thing is, you know, what do we got? We got Herrera 15-0, 9 knockouts. We got, oh no, that was Guerrero 15-09 knockouts. Herrera 17-4. He's got stopped once. He's the taller guy, a little bit more experience. Yeah, Pat McCormick, that was the fight. But then he bounced back. Pat, he's been in there with some good guys though. Patty Donovan, McCormick. Let's see what the odds are on that again. Big favorite. Big favorite. So there you go. 162. Yeah, I didn't throw him on. I think he loses. That's why I didn't throw him on, though, to answer your question, Win. Finding tape on Chris Guerrero is like searching for a piece of dirt on a dirty floor. There's some yeah, and that's how it is. That's how it be sometimes. That's how it is. And it's kind of like even guys with bigger names. I forgot who we were taping. Like we were taping somebody 2 months ago, and it might have been like a world title eliminator, and they had, I think, 30 pro fight. We couldn't find any tape on them. I don't know if it was on that card. We couldn't. There's certain guys. Sometimes you'll run across guys. There's no tape. It's like Jesus. All right, guys. We are 36 minutes in. I'm gonna go over some of the talking points right now in our sport. So this is something. This is something that I talked about yesterday. Is the fact that if I was more technologically sound, one of the inventions I would want to create is a 24/7 news ticker on just boxing. I remember as a kid, the only channel I ever watched as a kid, you know, I was a teenager in the late 90s, was ESPN. And ESPN was always on in my house. My father and myself, and I have three sisters and my mom, and they had to go to the other room to watch TV. The main room, my dad and ESPN, but the ESPN had a 24/7 ticker. And it was always like baseball scores, whatever sport was in season. And I was like, man, there's no boxing ticker. I want to create, how come we can't have a 24/7 what's going on, like an algorithm boxing ticker all around the world? We create this sort of search engine, this AI that has like all the major belt promotions. You put all the fighters' names that are listed, and then the search engine picks up when things are coming on. Anyway, we don't have that. It's not a thing. I do my best on my Instagram. Now, this is my just personal Insta, Johnny Stavko. I don't really post on it anymore. If you see me posting, it's probably a picture of me and my girl. But I used to use it a lot for fitness and strength and conditioning in my podcast. So I grew to about 42,000 people over the last decade. All I use it for now is the story, the what's going on in boxing, what I just talked about. So we talked about it yesterday a bit. So this is our boy Mike, though. Peep gang. So this is Tyler. Follow Mike TV. He's one of our guys. This is an older video. He's fighting December 7th in the UK right there. So this card is going down Holiday Inn. And Murray Promotions, Scott Murray Promotions. So yeah, follow Mike Tyler. That's our live stream. Fight week, Michaela Mayer. Okay, what do you guys think about this? We need to talk. We need to talk. What do you guys think about this? What is this? We know what it is. What's your opinion on this? Where do you guys stand on this? Okay? We know, say it, about to get the bag. They about to get the bag. Are we breaking this down? Guys, like, I put this, I mean, what are we doing? Are we breaking this down? Are we doing this? Are we betting on this? What are we doing? They're talking about this is official. Floyd versus Manny. I just want to know your opinion on it. Because I look at this fight like I look at Jake Paul and Tank. The only way I'm doing a breakdown video of Tank and Jake Paul is if one of our level 2s, if one of our level 2 membership says, Johnny, do a stats and live video on Tank and Jake, it's the only way I'm doing it. What are we doing here? Boo, nobody want. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is real. Go to the ring. I won like 99.99% of the time, and the 0.0001% chance is just an error on my end. I don't post yellow journalism on my channels. This was from the ring. This is a ring issue post. So let's click on that joint. Oh God. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are in talks for a potential rematch in 2026. The ring's Mike Coppinger has learned. The fight is being explored as another Netflix boxing event. Why don't we say the fight is being explored as another Netflix entertainment event? Johnny, if LV2 asks for Tang and Jake, you need to refund them. I'm glad we see eye to eye, Mankey. Okay, Rambler brought this up earlier. You betting against Ralph's? What if Bradis is a corner? You will be perturbed. Guys, but there's nothing about Ralph's game that I think that he's going to beat the Turk. You know what I'm saying? I'll sit with it a little longer. I'll sit with it a little longer. I remember, I don't know, man. You think he's going to go in and beat Malik? We started the live chat with this. We'll go back to it. Mehmet Unal versus Vilkins. Look, Rambler, if you come through on this one, bro, we are changing your name to the Oracle. I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's move on from this. Any last words? Pacquiao, Floyd. This is talk about like prostituting our sport, man. This will be yeah. I think you guys are like me. This doesn't excite anyone. We'll move on. Pero Thompson, good little card. This is the fight card we've been talking about. The Buatsi Parker, Vasoli Howarth. You know they announced this. This is this just got announced an hour ago. I was kind of shout out to Vasoli. You know we want to see him step up. Howarth is a nice little fighter too, though. Did you guys see this? What are your thoughts on this? So this is a UK special. This is an Eddie Hearn and Matchroom special. But you know, people. Two serious prospects headlining on the big stage. 9-0 Vasoli faces 14-1 Howarth in a final eliminator for the English lightweight title in London, Wednesday, December 17th. John Hedges defends his English title against Zorro, plus a series crop of next-gen fighters and support the NDO 02. You know what my favorite thing about this is I don't know if you guys remember last year, going into it gets the end of the year, like December, the last few weeks of December, there was supposed to be a big card like New Year's Eve weekend and it got canceled and then December was pretty much crickets. So like all year from a boxing fan and a content creator perspective, I'm talking all year when I'm doing my like channel breakdown and I schedule, you know, because you guys you only see this, the behind the scenes of how organized I am with my channel. I have the fights, upcoming fights. I'll know which ones I want to break down, etc. All year, I'm like, December is going to be so slow. I hope December isn't as slow as it was last year. And then all year, I've been like, what am I going to do for December? Maybe I go back to UFC content and MMA content for the month. But then I see this card. I'm like, okay, good. That's why I was happy. I was like, we got a good card. We need a couple more good cards, and then December will be all right. They were calling Vasoli white chocolate in Philly after his last. No, people are high on him. Are you guys that high on him? How do you guys think? Do you guys think Vasoli is he's going to be a world champion? Is he that dude, guys? I got to see more. I got to see more. You know me. I'm like that old grandpa who is who like I'm stuck in the past. You gotta prove things to me. You can show me photo evidence. I'll say it was doctored. You know, with prospects, that's how I am. I'm like, y'all gotta prove. I ain't buying it yet. You know what I mean? Even with even with Floyd, even with Floyd stopping Tevin, I'm still like, I don't know, man. Hold up. So this is tomorrow. Jerusalem versus Kuse. You guys usually guys, it's not hard to find um it's usually pretty easy to find fight banners for world title fight. This was hard. I had to do a bit of a deep dive to find the fight banner for Jerusalem versus Kuse. I almost had to go to Reddit. You know you're getting in the weeds when you're trying to find content in Reddit. But Reddit is good for some things. Like last week, I don't know if this affected you guys, but I use Zoom for my online coaching. So I have a live online coaching business, clients who live in London, clients who live in France, and I live stream like my certain fitness classes that I do from my gym downstairs. And last week Zoom just wasn't working, and I go to the app, no answers. I go to the Google, no answers. I was like, oh, I have an idea. Let me go to Reddit. Literally typed in Zoom down, and then Reddit gave me my answer. So I literally had to find this searching the internet like I was searching for Reddit answers. What you know about Sal, boy? This is one of my favorite fighters of all time. If you guys haven't seen the Wilfredo Gomez fight, um, Wilfredo Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez, boy, one of my all-time favorite fights. Sal ended up getting him out of there. And if my memory serves me correctly, I think it was Sal that was coming up a weight class, and Wilfredo Gomez was it was either a 50-50 fight, or Gomez was the A side, and Sal Sanchez, dude, look his movements, mate. People, if you don't know who Sal Sanchez is, like, you should hopefully I don't know if he's a household name. It's hard for me to differentiate the knowledge I have of the sport versus the average fan, because in my head everybody knows who Sal Sanchez is. Passed away really young. When you talk about Mexican fighters, he was on his way. He was on his way, and then he passed away, young. What do you guys make of this? Watch this shit. Look at this boy here. This dude catches him on the sneak, and then watch my young buck right here. Boy, get your reward. My girlfriend, when I posted this, my girlfriend messaged me. She was like, Johnny, Johnny, that was kind of violent. She was like, why do you really want to put that stuff on for the world to see? I'm like, Chris, this is an important message. You just can't be stealing on someone. Notice how this dude steals on that homie and then continues to live stream. He just punched a guy, and I don't care if he's drunk. Obviously, he's on something. The audacity in the human behavior to physically assault somebody right here and then just blatantly turn on him, acting like there's no consequences. That is shocking. So my girl's like, do you really want to promote that on your channel? I'm like, read what I said. I go, this Jen is wild to pot shot a fella on the streets, then continue to live stream as if there's no consequences. Good on the little fella for finding the straight right hand down the pipe. And then use your words. But you gotta get your reward here, boy. Don't ever let anyone steal on you like this. Don't ever let anyone steal. Like, look at this. That dude, what? And he turns and he's, oh, boy. Dude, that's a clean straight right hand, man. I could watch that all day. But yeah, I'm all about using your words, but you don't just physically assault somebody without any consequences. I love Sal Sanchez. Yeah, man. His tape is great. Guys, if you're new to the game, if you're new to watching tape, and you want to learn about, like, dude, feints, level changes, constant movements, fluidity, poetry in motion, aggression, Sal Sanchez literally had it all. But when people talk about, when they praise Sal Sanchez, yeah, he was a Mexican style fighter, but he wasn't just a slugger. He wasn't just a brawler. Like, the dude was pretty to watch. Watch his leg. Watch what he does with his feet. Look at that. Watch the head movement and then the countering. Head movement, angling. Beautiful to watch. Dude, that I love that dip and rip right hand over the top, boy. That left hook. You could just see the hours and hours of drilling. And notice when he slips and he level changes, he never gets his head over his front knee too far. So that's the thing when you're level changing. You see a lot, even at the pro level. Think about when we just covered this on the channel when who got knocked out? Somebody sent me a video. We were doing tape on Arslanbek, and Arslanbek was fighting. You know, he was getting ready for the Dave Allen fight, and in one of his other fights, he had knocked down his opponent, and he was like, "Johnny, what could he have done differently?" And I broke the tape down, and Arslanbek's opponent, when he was level changing, rather than coming here, he was coming here, and he got his head over his knee, and therefore his head's parallel with the canvas, and he didn't see the uppercut coming. So watch how he level. Watch his legs. Watch how active his legs. Right there, his torso. He squats. It's beautiful, and he always keeps his head and his vision on his opponent. Everywhere he's moving, his vision was on point. Look at that. That slip and rip, man. It's one of my favorite punches. That slip left hook. He throws the left hook from the bottom as well. When he landed that last left hook, he wasn't high and he didn't wait. He didn't level change and then wait for him to bite. He would use his level changes all at once. Gorgeous to watch. If, like I said, if you want to learn like the minutia, the technique, watch his film study. Get your reward. I had a high school basketball coach. Shout out to Coach Ives. Coach Ives, rest in peace. He passed away a couple years ago. One of my high school basketball coaches, he would always tell me that because I was a two guard and I was a shooter. You know, my favorite player growing up, my favorite players, and I'm a diehard basketball fan. I don't talk about it a lot, but you know, growing up in Northeast Ohio, the Cleveland Cavs, Mark Price. You know, we had our starting five: Brad Daugherty, Hot Rod Williams, Larry Nance, Craig Elo, Mark Price. And then we also had, you know, Steve Kerr before Kerr went to the Bulls. But I'm a two guard. I like shooting the rock. And so my Coach I would always, Johnny, run the pick and roll, set the screen, peel off the screen, get the pass, get your reward, get your reward. And we were running, you know, he didn't want me to just be a spot, you know, straight up spot shooter. He wanted me to come off the screen and shoot the rock. But he'd always say that, get your reward. Who do you got, Johnny? Eubank or Ben? Guys, in this first one, you could go to the channel. I gave we got receipts on all my predictions, right? I'd like to do, maybe as the year comes to an end, if I have time, I'll add up my percentages of the stats on live videos. But in the first one, I took Chris Eubank Jr. I don't know, man. And I talked about this on a live stream last week. When you look at I'm not happy this fight's going down. I'm not happy about, I don't want to see Eubank versus Ben 2. By the way, it's not a fight that excites me. Both guys took a lot of damage. It really makes, you know, obviously they're going to get paid exorbitantly, so I'm not hating on that. But my point is, you know, Conor Benn, we think about legacy. Do you want to be a world champion? Being a world champion is not where this fight's taking place. It kind of is another fight to take a lot of damage. You only have so many wars as a fighter. You know, if you look at, you know, a fighter's career as a power bar on a video game, and I don't play video games, it's just an analogy that I remember playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but a power bar on a video game, if you look at that timeline of a boxer's career and it's full green, every single punch, every single round, every single win, every single loss, that power bar goes down a little bit. And watching how many punches, how much damage both guys took with Eubank, it's understandable. He's what, 36 years old now. You know, he's peaked. He's done what he's wanted to do. Never really got that huge fight. He was always campaigning for Canelo, never got it. And you know, this makes sense. This is a generational money. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense from a tactical standpoint. I see Conor Benn having more room for improvement. I see Conor Benn being able to make more adjustments. Will Conor Benn have the fight IQ, though, to not fight that exact same fight? Because whenever you put emotions, history, we know the story, where they come from, their fathers. it's really tough to control your emotions and not let that inner dog come out and just want to get into a dog fight. But I feel Conor Benn has the skill to fight a cleaner fight. I feel Conor Benn has the skill to make it a little bit easier and actually get the win. So right now, Conor Benn on plus money, I'm kind of leaning on that, to be honest with you. There is a rehydration clause like it was in the first one. And, he's a very hungry dude. We'll see. Julius Benn has never accomplished anything in boxing. You bang, yeah, no. This is kind of my the head scratching moment for me from Conor Benn's camp, because you talk about this being Conor Benn. He wants to be great. He's called out all the big names, everyone from 35 to, I mean, this fight's going down at what, 60? But he's a natural kind of 47, 47. He's kind of even not a big 47. And you say all this shit, you remember he was calling out Tank, he's calling out Shakur, calling out Devin, calling out Boots, calling out Bud, like calling out everybody. And you never, because his best win is arguably what, Chris Algieri, and that was when Chris was not the Chris who fought Provodnikov. That was years later. Chris had already fought Algieri, had already, he was at the twilight of his career, and it was a bad knockout. That was, in my opinion, the best we've saw. The best version of Conor was against Chris, and then he popped after that. And so when you ask Algieri about that fight, he thinks that we saw an enhanced Conor Benn. But does Conor Benn beat the version of Chris who beat Ruslan Provodnikov? I don't know. Cavs on my parlay. My father always said, boxing fan, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. I'm a diehard Cleveland fan. Still good. Do I bet on the Cavs? Hell no. Do I bet on the Browns? Hell to the no. Do I bet on the Indians? Hell no. Every time I bet on a Cleveland team, no matter how good they're doing, I don't do it. I don't even bet on the Buckeyes. And in my house, where I come from, you're born in the neonatal center. You're born with scarlet and gray. So Ohio State, the Buckeyes, I don't bet on them boys either. But guys, we're approaching an hour. It is it's 7:25 here, 7:26 a.m. I'm uploading Jerusalem right after this. That'll be up probably around 9. Then I have a couple sessions. I got a coach. And then I think I'm gonna do a live at 12. So I'm gonna go live again in about 4.5 hours for anybody who missed anything. And then we could talk about some other stuff. I'm sure there'll be some advancements in our story time. Boxing fan Johnny Haney getting cooked by BNJ. My problem with BNJ is his head on the line, but it won't be an issue that night. That's a fun fight. It's a fun fight. I think I put something up. Cleveland beating the Bucks. This is film study. Blah, blah, blah. Shock Foster. Out of the Jojo Diaz fight with an injured hand. In this video, you're going to hear him talk about when he got to pull out of the Ashton Sill fight for a rib. He claims that the Political Commission pulled him out of the Shakur fight. And then Floyd said that he had to have what surgery?
The critics gonna say what they want, but the first fight, the Shakur fight, we didn't pull out of that. The British Board of Commissions pulled us out of the fight and took our license. They would not allow us to fight. People proved that the British Board of Commission pulled the Schofields out of the fight. Not pull out of the fight. This is the first fight. No, he broke his rib in one fight when he was supposed to fight Ash.
I had a torsion too in my testicles. I had to get surgery on my testicles.
Like, he's a growing kid that
Did you just hear that? That's all I'm gonna say. So Auntie Skull and Floyd and Kid were just talking about. So Kid had to pull out of the Jojo Diaz fight, injury in his hand. But then they just started talking about his twisted testicles on an interview, and I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's because Auntie Skull blocked me on Instagram for no reason. But I don't know if Floyd Schofield Sr., man, I don't know, man. He seemed a little bit suspect to me. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the Greg Hackett beef? Greg Hackett and Floyd Schofield Sr. On that note, I'm not gonna shade. I'm not gonna shade. I'm not gonna shade on T-Sco. That's my guy. But stay tuned, boys. Okay, I appreciate everybody here. Catch you in the next one.